So I decided to stop pussyfooting around and get a real 4K TV. What you got behind me is the Sony Bravia 900E. Now I've had two 4K TVs now. I had the Sony X690E, which was a pile of crap, and I had the Samsung MU8000, which broke. All 4K TVs are not created equal, it would seem. Now let me tell you, this may seem like common sense to some, but to me, my thinking was simple. I have a over 5-year-old LG 1080p television set. So I'm thinking 4 times the resolution at 1080p, it's gotta be significantly better. I didn't do in-depth research before I bought the TV, but I did go to ratings.com. That's a go-to site for 4K television sets. I looked up the Sony X690E and had a 7.4 overall, but here's the thing. The main reason I wanted it was because I wanted to stretch the legs of my Xbox One X system. I've been hearing since I got it, you're not really getting the most out of the system. You're not getting nowhere near the most out of the system because you're only at 1080p. I've been hearing this and hearing this and hearing this. So I see these TVs on sale at Best Buy for cheap. I see a Sony. That's the one I looked up. I was like, I mean, at this price, I could swing it. You know what I mean? Because I don't like to spend too much money on television sets. It's got an 8.4 rating in video games. So seeing as how that's my sole reason, it's not the sole reason, but it's the primary reason for getting the television set, an 8.4 in video games. Ratings breaks down everything, step by step by step. Movies, TV shows, sports, video games, PC monitor, everything, okay? These guys go into massive detail. Any little detail, they break it all down for you, so you know the ins and outs before you even get the television set. So it ranked poorly on movies and TV shows, but the 8.4 on the video games is what I was interested in. And again, because it's a 4K TV, I thought, you know what? It's got to be better than my 1080p television. So either way you slice it, it's an upgrade. In fact, this on ratings.com, it has an overall rating of 8.2 as opposed to the 690E's 7.4. But the 690E got a... I'm losing myself with all these numbers. The 690E got a 8.4 in video games. This only has an 8.3. You see what I'm talking about? I'm like, okay, so this mid to high end. This, I wouldn't say this is high end, but it's getting there. It doesn't rank as high as this 690E. I'm going with the 690E. It's got less input lag, 20 milliseconds input lag. This has 34 milliseconds input lag. They said the HDR capabilities of the 690E were limited. It said that it handled motion extremely well. I got the TV, and what an absolute disappointment, people. I talked about this briefly in my other video. There was ghosting everywhere. It didn't handle motion well. The HDR capabilities weren't limited. They were non-existent. They were abysmal. It ruined the picture. And yes, I properly calibrated it. I tweaked the settings. As a matter of fact, that's what I spent 2 days doing, was tweaking settings. I felt like I had just gotten a brand new PC and I was just fiddling around with settings instead of being able to watch the damn TV or play the games and look at the picture. So the HDR was all but irrelevant. I said, you know what, I can't even have it on HDR mode. It's pointless. I went into the HDMI ports, I put it on enhanced, ruined the picture. You know what I mean? So I just kept it on standard and I got a decent picture, but the motion was terrible. Terrible. Everywhere I'm looking on World War II, I'm playing World War II. Everywhere you look, there's streaking going through the screens. I was just like, dude, this is garbage. Now, I'm going to attribute that to the 60 Hertz panel. I should have had my head examined getting a 60 Hertz panel, but my monitor's 60 Hertz. That don't do that, but I guess you can't compare monitors and television sets. So enter the Samsung MU8000. Did a much better job at HDR. It was a 120 Hertz panel. So it handled motion extremely well. 23 milliseconds input lag. It did real good. I liked it. I was satisfied with it. The only problem is that the movies didn't look too good. Now, ratings said this. It said the movies were, I forget what they gave it, like a 7.7. I'm watching Blade Runner 2049 and the blacks look gray. It's just the picture looks washed out. I was like, oh man, this doesn't look good. I put in Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok looks better on my 1080p than it does on my MU8000. Everything was just dim. So I'm sitting there tweaking settings, calibrations. It's just like, you know what? This sucks. You know what? I put the 60-inch LG in the bedroom. I'll just watch movies in there. So I turn it off, and then bam, I get the lines through the television set. At first I thought it could be the Xbox. It wasn't. Unplugged the HDMI. It's still doing it. So I took it back to the store and I said, I'm done. I'm done with 4K. That's a wrap. I'm just going to keep my LG. I'll get a 4K later on down the road because it's not all it's cracked up to be. Now the MU8000, that is a mid-grade television. That's a mid-range set. I should have been blown away, and I wasn't. Now Assassin's Creed Origins, that blew me away. But graphics can't carry a game. In about 10 minutes, I was bored and realized why I put the game down in the first place. So, here's the thing. And this is going to sound weird. Going from 1080p to 4K, while being a big difference, it's not a big difference. It's not as big a difference as you would think. Here's the ironic thing about it. Going from 4K to 1080p, now that is where the major difference occurs. It's crazy because you're so critical of the product. You're just looking for things. At least that's how I am. Especially when I spend $1,200 on a TV. I'm just looking for things. I'm thinking of all the good things LG did. The LG TV did. You know what I mean? When I put the LG back in here, I was like, okay, yeah, it's quite clear. I need a 4K television set. It's quite clear, and it's also becoming blatantly obvious that I need to spend some money. So if you want a 4K TV, unless you look into the TCL, I forget, I think it's the 607, and at Best Buy it's a 605. I'm an expert on 4K TVs now. I've been researching this shit for 2.5 weeks. You look into those have good ratings, but I cannot attest to those myself. They did not have display models, couldn't see them. So anyways, point of the whole story, I go back to Best Buy, I see the 900E. 900E has the best mid-range ratings across the board. They recommend this over the 930E. Not to say it's better, but because of the price point, because the 930E is so much more expensive. Well, it's not so much more expensive, $500 more expensive. I said, you know what? The input lag was the biggest reason, the input lag. Which brings me to my next point. Blaze 4K. My man Blaze. I'm sorry I doubted you. You were right. I was wrong. Clip it out. There you go. All the shit you've been talking about 4K is true. It is a game changer if you have the right television set. Do not skimp out, people. Again, this had 34 milliseconds input lag. And I'm just like, I can't do it, man. I just had the Samsung 23 milliseconds. The Sony before had 20 milliseconds. I can't do it. And Blaze is talking to me. He's like, well, how much does your LG have? You've been playing on that for 5 years. I was like, you know what? I don't know. I tried to look. I couldn't find it. He's like, dude, I guarantee it's more than the Sony. I said, no. No way. No way. It's 34 milliseconds. So a guy on Twitter, New York Giants fanatic, he found it on the input lag database. My LG television that I've been playing on for 5+ years has 44 milliseconds of input lag. 40, I said, 900E it is. So enter the 900E. I get it, I bring it home, I set it up. People, every time I turn this television on, I'm blown away. Every time I look at the picture, 1080p content looks better. I fired up Xbox 360 content on this television. Standard HDMI, naturally, it's not 4K. We're talking about a 720p picture. Pretty sure it's upscale because this shit looks, Red Dead looks so crisp, it looks so clean. Everything I'm putting on the TV looks better than my 1080p, even though it's 1080p content. The 4K content? Wow. Wow. Like, I shit you not. I hate to say it after coming off of that. I'm not real impressed, but you know what? For that cheap-ass TV, what do you really expect? And it's like I was showing my brother the ghosting on the 690E, and it's like, dude, I mean, what do you expect? You make compromises. When you go cheap, you got to make compromises. So this was $1,500. I don't know if I said that or not already. I've tried to make this video like 3 times already. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. More than I wanted to spend, but $1,500. Think about it. If I'm spending $1,200, what's the difference? 12, 15, whatever. Don't skimp out. get the 900E. So the HDR in the video game, Forza 7, looks like the sunlight is really shining on the cars. Like I'm looking at the car, the sunlight, my eyes are squinting. The 930E is supposed to, the 930E is supposed to be brighter. I can't handle brighter. I can't handle this, especially in a dark room. I'm squinting, looking at the screen because of the sun rays coming up bouncing off of the damn car. Forza Horizon 3 looks phenomenal. Assassin's Creed, everything looks so damn good. And here's another problem. Is now I don't even want to play on my PC. My PC can't handle 4K. It can at 30 FPS, but we all know 30 FPS on a PC is not near as good as 30 FPS on a console, and that's a fact. So the PC is kind of irrelevant now. Looking at the 1080p content, like I fire up PUBG at 60 FPS. On my computer at 1080p, it looks like crap compared to the Xbox One X version, even though it's running at 15 FPS. You know what I mean? So in a way it's good, in a way it's bad. So now it's like, well, crap, now I don't want to upgrade my PC. So it's just one big money pit when you get right down to it. But what the people have said is true. If you have an Xbox One X, PS4 Pro, you are really, really limiting yourself without having a 4K television set. Big time. 900E, Sony baby. Oh, did you serious? It slipped. It slipped. I didn't mean to say it. Take it back. Take it back. I cut it out. I cut it out of the video. Blaze. So there you go. Those are my thoughts. If you're looking to go 4K, it's worth it. It's worth it. If you get the right 4K TV. Anything else you want to tell the people? Anything else? The input lag. I forgot all about the input lag. I can't tell. I thought I could tell, but then again, I was going from a TV with 44 milliseconds to a monitor with 5 milliseconds. But I'm telling you now, the Samsung was 23 milliseconds. This is 34 milliseconds. I can't tell the difference. And thank God for that, because when I set it up and I started playing, I was like, oh, please don't. I was like, it feels just as responsive. People, we're talking about fractions of a second. And I was, once you get numbers in your head, man, it's hard to wash them out, but I promise you, if you're worried about the input lag, don't be. All right, that's all I got for you. 900E is a real deal. I'll holler at you later. Enter the Sony Bravia. 900E.